So we are the Teachers Academy, and we have been nominated by World Bank Education Group as one of the global innovations in professional learning, which could change the way teachers learn in India. So we have this recognition. What we are doing with you is something known as the Staff Leadership Development Program, and this is the fifth edition of the program. We've done it 4 times before. So it's a very successful program. The program revolves around a very simple book. Please get a copy of this book. I suggest you order one for every teacher. If you haven't read this book, you have not become a teacher. Sorry to say that. It's that important, a book. So this is a book which takes you for a journey into your classroom, which helps you understand your children better, which helps you connect with the parents, which helps you connect with the management, and which helps you find yourself as a teacher. It has 11 chapters, very simple, contemporary versus school, non-contemporary school management, what happens in the class, war and peace, love learning, hate learning, affection, rejection, like, unlike, right versus wrongs, and so on. Every chapter is relevant and is just out of your classroom. We will do one chapter a month. Now, please pay attention. We will do one chapter a month. After we finish reading it, we will talk to you about the chapter. You will tell us about what happened in your classroom. And then you will sit down together and create a blog post. You will write down your experience of a similar theme as that of the chapter. And when you send us a blog post, it will come up on this very blog, which is the Happy Teachers blog. So I'll show you how to find the blog post. So let us say here. So wanted I'll give you an example. You can find them yourself. This blog is available to you, happyteacher.in. So we must have done this. Yeah, this is last week's session where we introduced the book. So as you people have all joined, I suggest you end up reviewing the last introduction. We will not do the introduction here today. We will start with the chapter. As far as the introduction is concerned, we have a WhatsApp group. I have shared the link of the introduction in the WhatsApp group. You will find that there. So where we introduce this chapter to you, let me just put this link up. So what I do is I suggest that you people join the Learning Forward Saturday WhatsApp group. That's crucial, where you can follow us. So Vishal will share this introduction. Now with that done, when you write an assignment, let us say you write an assignment on chapter 1, wanted back bencher last ranker teacher. Sorry, I spelled teacher badly. So this is a blog which is very well respected across the world on the Teachers Academy. So what happens here? You'll find, yeah, for example, this is an example of an assignment. We were doing the chapter heart versus mind. So there's a recap, then there are actions taken, and then there's a dialogue. Yeah, here, I want to show you this. So this is an assignment done after reading chapter 1 by teachers of a particular school. The example of the assignment I am copying again and putting it in your WhatsApp chat. So Vishal sir, I will share the QR code of this WhatsApp chat with you. You can please circulate it so teachers can join. We don't expect you to please write. We don't ever want you to wish me a good morning. We don't ever want you to forward anything. If you do one wrong, you'll be moved out of the group. We are very particular about focusing on learning and we are serious about it. So I've shared these two links with you to give you an idea in 2 minutes as to what is expected and what we are doing. Thank you, Vishal. God bless you. You got both. So let me get back into the room and let me come to reality. So welcome Sunita ji.
Yes, sir. Jai Hind, sir.
जय हिंद जी.
जय
अब आपको नया टीचर मिल गया.
Accepted, sir.
आपका बेबी टीचर चला गया, पापा टीचर आ गया. तो नीलाशी इज अवे, सो आई हैव बीन टोल्ड टू, मुझे बोला गया है कि ये आप ही को संभालना पड़ेगा. तो
Yes, sir.
हमारा बोर्ड डिसीजन था कि दो नए स्कूल आए हैं, तो हमको अपना एक जो अवार्ड विनिंग पुराना प्रोग्राम है वो रिवाइव करना चाहिए, क्योंकि
ओके।
आज जो हमारे पास 45-40 लोग हैं इस लर्निंग फॉरवर्ड सेशन में, वो सारे
यस सर।
तकरीबन नए हैं। उन्होंने ये प्रोग्राम हमारे साथ दोबारा हमें दोबारा नहीं करना पड़ रहा, पहली बार करना पड़ रहा है, क्योंकि आप लोगों ने हमारे साथ ये प्रोग्राम किया नहीं। तो हमारे पास बुलंदशहर से हैं, बलिया से हैं, करसाना से हैं, और सारे सनबीम हैं। जय हिंद। अतर फूड एकेडमी इज देयर, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू। आप हम लोग को अगर कुछ ऐसी चीजें बताएं कि जो हम लोग लाइफ में भी यूज करें और ऐसे भी लर्निंग के लिए जो अच्छा हो, वो हम लोग जरूर वो करना चाहेंगे।
हम अवश्य आपके साथ हैं, पर हम पढ़ेंगे अंग्रेजी में, थोड़ी सी
यस
मेहनत
सर।
करनी पड़ेगी, चाहे हिंदी में हो चाहे अंग्रेजी में हो, क्योंकि जो अंग्रेजी भाषा है ना, उसी को हमारे देश में एजुकेशन कहते हैं।
एजुकेशन
ये
कहते
दुविधा
हैं।
है, ये दुविधा है। हम अपनी जुबान को भूल गए और दूसरे की जुबान पे फिदा हो गए। ऐसी दुनिया है कि हम दूसरे की जुबान पे फिदा हो गए हैं, परंतु अब कोई चारा नहीं है, क्योंकि दूसरे की जुबान सबसे आगे चली गई है और हमको उसके साथ जाना होगा, करना होगा और सीखना होगा। और इस मोड पे अभिनंदन पूरा, अब काम करते हैं।
यस सर।
Everyone, welcome to Learning Forward Saturday. We will meet you every Saturday. I am at the My Good School in Dehradun. This is not a wallpaper behind me. It's our actual model learning school. ऐसा स्कूल हम चाहते हैं हर एक बनाएं अपने स्कूल में, हर एक टीचर का लाउंज ऐसा बने, हर एक क्लासरूम ऐसा बने, और सबको सीखने की खुशी मिले, सबको अपना जीवन सफल बनाने का मौका मिले। इस मोड पे हम एक किताब पढ़ रहे हैं, वांटेड बैक बेंचर लास्ट रैंकर टीचर। किताब की इंट्रोडक्शन आपके साथ शेयर की जा चुकी है, और अब शो चलेगा आगे। चैप्टर 1, वांटेड बैक बेंचर लास्ट रैंकर टीचर। चैप्टर 1, कन्वेंशनल वर्सेस कंटेम्पररी स्कूल मैनेजमेंट। Before we close this annual academic meeting, there is something else, something rather important that I would like to discuss and get your approval on, of course. Stated Jacob Roderick, CEO of one of the fastest growing international school chains, addressing the four members of the board of management. For the past half year, he had been gathering the courage to broach the crucial topic. He was going to require plenty of nerve just to present the idea before the esteemed members. Getting approval on it would be another uphill task. ये हमारे साथ अक्सर होता है, जो आपके डायरेक्टर या प्रिंसिपल जब बोर्ड के पास जाते हैं, उनको बहुत सोच समझ के अपना ख्याल, अपनी प्रपोजल और अपना काम करवाना होता है। और ये बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज होगा जब आप लीड करेंगे स्कूल को, या आप ऐसी पोजीशन में आएंगे जब आपको डिसीजन लेने होंगे, और आपका डिसीजन हंड्रेड्स और थाउजेंड्स ऑफ कम्युनिटी मेंबर्स को इफेक्ट करेगा। तो जब बोर्ड बैठता है और सीनियर पर्सन उनके पास जाता है, ये उसका ब्यौरा है। सो दिस इज अ चैप्टर ऑन व्हाट हैपेंस इन द बोर्ड रूम। Jacob, come on. We have discussed everything for the last 3 months, from the new exam directives and policy amendments to the appointment of the new vice principal and the revised admission procedures. Simon Roderick, his younger brother, grumbled. Tim and Wilson have presented their proposal for restructuring the present canteen into a high tech one with healthy, child friendly food and so on. Moreover, discussion on the refurbishment of the school website to make it better and more comprehensive was the last item of today's agenda, he added, a clear note of annoyance in his voice as he looked at his watch. I really appreciate your innovative thought of introducing a code of conduct in school. But if this is all about acquiring another school in the UK, let's talk about that at the next meeting. So when the CEO put up an idea that he wanted to talk about, They all were guessing what it is, and they asked him, "Can we do it next meeting?" So here we go. Uncle Patrick chuckled, wondering how many schools the young rogue intended to add to the next existing cluster of premium institutions the family already owned. Patrick and his elder brother Christopher, Jacob's father, had started with one small school just a decade ago. Today, the family owned and managed a chain of 12 schools in the country and one in the UK, the Roderick International School. There's so many of us here from Sunbeam, so it may sound a bit of a biographical story कि Sunbeam EduServe के बोर्ड में क्या बातचीत चलती है. आगे चलते हैं. Gentlemen, this is about a new appointment, Jacob answered, pulling out a yellow file from beneath a stack and pushing it gently towards the middle of the polished rectangular table. You want us to look into the details of a new appointment now? Simon asked, amazed and annoyed. Peering at his watch again, he spun his chair to the right in an attempt to escape from the maddening situation. He did not doubt his handsome father was one of the best entrepreneurs in the country, bagging the youngest school entrepreneur award last year at the age of 30. But sometimes one had to draw a line between sanity and convoluted madness. And this was undisputed insanity. He wanted to go home and watch the live ODI match, and here his workaholic brother wanted to talk about a new appointment. Getting up, he stretched. Sitting for 3 hours in the same place was not an insignificant matter to overlook. Sit down, Simon, Jacob murmured softly. His tone was commanding, and the dark gray eyes compelled enough to make the others look at him. The distinguished board members gazed at the striking young man in the little purple pinstripe shirt as he slowly flexed his shoulder muscles and smoothed his acid blue silk tie into his navy blue blazer. He silently indicated the yellow file was still lying untouched on the table. एक फाइल जो बोर्ड ने खोली ही नहीं थी तो उसकी तरफ इशारा किया अपने रॉडरिक सीईओ साहब ने. Are you serious? Asked his cousin Paul, the youngest member of the board. Very, Jacob answered, leaning over to open the file, which revealed a newspaper clipping in a transparent pocket. It read, Teacher wanted. We are searching for a superior, adaptable experts for our classrooms. With a spark of in their eyes, dynamic doses of guts, mental strength, and a shock-proof temperament. ये विज्ञापन है जो अखबार में दिया और विज्ञापन की जो कॉपी थी वो बोर्ड के सामने रखी गई. Don't tell me this is about the insane idea you had about a crazy advertisement regarding the appointment of an equally crazy teacher, Simon gasped. He started in astonished disbelief at the advertisement on the table. It seemed to mock them. The guy had gone bananas. There was no doubt about it. Jacob, I think you need to break. Uncle Patrick suggested gently, running his fingers through the small patch of hair which sat like an island on top of his head. Something he did every time he was worried. He knew that he would soon lose the little island too if these young people kept bickering at every opportunity. हम अक्सर कहते हैं कि तुमने तो मेरे बाल की खाल निकाल दी, मेरे सर में से सारे बाल निकाल दिए. ऐसी फीलिंग आई थी साहब को, और साहब ने सोचा कि ये जो जवान लोग मेरा स्कूल चला रहे हैं, जैसे ये आपस में बहस करते हैं, मेरे तो बाकी के बाल भी गिर जाएंगे. Let's go on. No, it's not I who needs a break. We all need to break the old ideology of looking for standard educators for our schools, Jacob answered, throwing up his hands in frustration. So, what you mean to say is that we need substandard teachers, right? Or maybe more qualified teachers who will ask for a king's ransom in take home? Simon responded angrily. unable to contain himself a moment more. No, what I mean is that we need to break with the traditional ways of thinking. Gentlemen, my maths teacher, who was a gold medalist, found it difficult to understand why average students like us were unable to remember simple math formulae. Jacob explained the boardroom, which had suddenly fallen silent. His reasons must have been making some sense because he could hear his own heart beating in the silence. Simon remembered that as a schoolboy, he had never scored more than 9 out of 50 in math. The memory made him squirm in silent embarrassment. कितना मुश्किल होता है जब हमको टीचर ढूंढना पड़ता है। और ये एक विज्ञापन की बात हो रही है जिसमें हम टीचर को
Sir, have you muted yourself? Sandeep, sir?
sorry,
Okay.
do you hear me now?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can
sir.
hear.
You are doing.
But I guess you were reading on the screen, so that was okay. You want me to reread?
Yes, sir.
Should I read the last paragraph again?
Yeah, sure, sir.
But I think you must have read it. So, I mean, the book is on the screen. So, I want to test your attention. That's why I went on mute.
Yes,
So,
sir. We
anyway,
read that.
okay, lovely. So, I will read. A teacher who was himself a confident speaker as a student finds it difficult to imagine that stage fright is about. Jacob said, expanding on the theme, he saw he had the complete attention of every member. No one there wished to reveal their personal and unspoken traumatic school experiences, locked within for years. Paul was taking a special course in public speaking in the evenings. He still shook like a frightened puppy in front of a microphone. His teacher called him lazy pig. When he had forgotten his line, not by hair of my chinny chin chin at the annual play. So line was so simple, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. What a simple line. And imagine when you were young and you were told to remember this line and go on the stage. So he had to overcome so much stage fright that he just forgot even this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 words line. She thought he had not bothered to learn the words. She had not believed him when he had pathetically tried to tell her in her 10-year-old squeaky voice that he suddenly could not remember anything when he saw the ocean of faces looking at him. A teacher who has never broken the rules cannot counsel and forgive a child who is allergic to rules and regulations. A teacher who has forgotten all the fun she or he had as a student eating someone else's lunch, doodling on a shirt, or skipping classes will not understand innocent, guileless classroom fun. Guys, wake up. We need to change. It is time to think and work smart. Jacob lowered his voice, realizing that he was almost shouting when his twin cousin, Wilson and Trim, shrank into the plush leather of their chairs. And the teacher who thinks it is stupid to watch the Pokemon series or Looney Tunes and has never been infatuated will find it difficult to understand what a 15 or 16-year-old feels, he finished quietly. ये सब कुछ जो हम बोल रहे हैं क्लास में होता है और आप अगर अपने दिल में झांकेंगे ना आपके साथ भी हुआ होगा ये किसी की स्कर्ट पे लिख देना किसी की शर्ट पे लिख देना किसी का टिफिन खा लेना ये अक्सर बातें होती हैं और जिस टीचर ने ये एक्सपीरियंस किया होगा वही उस एक्सपीरियंस को आज के तरीके में क्लासरूम में हैंडल कर पाएगा अंकल पैक्ट्री रिकॉर्ड how he was made to stand outside his class for writing an I love you note to his classmate Pam when he was in class 10. He had left it by mistake in his chemistry notebook, and all hell had broken loose in school. Pam's father had threatened him, and his parents had taken him off karate and piano lessons for 6 months. A teacher who thinks he or she is too old to learn will never understand the difficulties of the average student or slow learner. It's an important point. It's worth for us to reflect. A teacher who thinks she or he is too old to learn will never understand the difficulties of the average student or slow learner. Uncle Patrick finished pensively, placing his warm palms over his favorite nephew's clutched hands. He owed it to his brother Christopher, who had died of a sudden heart attack last year, to stand by Jacob. He knew Jacob was still struggling to cope with the void in his life. Father and son had been very close. Exactly, Jacob answered with a faint smile, thankful for his uncle's support. So, what do we do, big bro? Conduct an experiment? Get an unqualified teacher for our school? Maybe a Scarlet O'Hara? Sound adventurous enough for you? Simon sneered, peeping at his watch again. Anyone knows who Scarlet O'Hara is? क्या आप में से किसी ने स्कारलेट ओहारा का नाम सुना है? नहीं सुना तो गूगल करके ढूंढिए इसको. स्कारलेट ओहारा कौन है और स्कारलेट ओहारा को क्यों यूज किया गया यहाँ एग्जाम्पल में, इसे ढूंढिए जरूर. और अगर आपको स्कारलेट ओहारा मिल जाए तो उसकी एक चित्र और उसका मैसेज जरूर हमारे को भेजिए.
थोड़ा सा हिंट के लिए बता दे, किताब है गॉन विद द विंड, उसमें स्कारलेट ओहारा का जिक्र है. बाकी तो आप लोग ढूंढ लीजिए.
मीनाक्षी, आपने तो गूगल के को भी मात दिया. आप एआई से भी आगे निकल गई. और मैं अक्सर
मैं तो पढ़ी हुई हूँ, मैं बताऊंगी कि कौन है तो गलत होगा ना. बस इनको थोड़ा सा हिंट दे दिया कि हाँ किताब का नाम ढूंढ.
मीनाक्षी जी, एआई का मतलब क्या होता है?
आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस.
बस यही तो दुनिया मात खा गई. एआई का मतलब होता है ऑल इन.
ऑल इन, एब्सोल्युटली.
जब आप अपने अंदर झांकेंगे, जब आप अपना आईना देखेंगे, जब आप आईना अपने अंदर लगा के अंदर देखेंगे और अपने आप को समझेंगे, तभी आप जिंदगी में कुछ भी कर पाएंगे. आपके अंदर सब कुछ है. कभी ये मत समझिए आपके अंदर कुछ नहीं है. देयर इज ऑल इन यू. Unfortunately, today what AI means is something outside which no one knows, which no one will see, and nothing will happen. Let me tell you one thing. If you go back last 100 years of technology, when TV came, there was the same noise. When radio came, there was the same noise. When the century turned at 2020, there was even bigger noise. So these noises keep happening and it is business as usual. असलियत ये है कि सब कुछ भगवान ने हमें दिया है. अगर आप भगवान को नहीं भी मानते, एक मिनट ना मानिए, परंतु कभी सोचिए कि हम सबको एक ही चीज की जरूरत है, वो है हमारी सेंसेस की। चाहे वो नॉन लिविंग आइटम हो, चाहे वो लिविंग आइटम हो, सबके पास सेंस होती है, और ये कॉमन फैक्टर है। आगे चलते हैं उपदेश स्कारलेट ओहारा की खोज के बाद। नो, we take on a spunky teacher for our teenagers, someone who has the courage and sensitivity to deal with our highly energetic and adventure filled adolescents, someone who thinks science in every classroom situation and teenage behavior. This is an important element to understand, that the teacher takes the behavior in the class anytime in a particular serious or fun manner and analyzes it. आपके क्लास में जो कोई रिएक्शन होता है, एक्शन होता है, उसका रीजन होता है. If a child behaves in a particular way, think, you must find out. And as we meet next time, you can tell me some incidents which you have discovered by observing this week. Have you found your wonder teacher, Jacob? Paul asked. Yes, in fact, I have. Jacob answered cautiously. So, who is this Miss Perfect? Uncle Patrick asked, trying to calm the situation with a little humor. She is not perfect. That's the whole point. Why don't you read her bio? Seriously, Jacob? I have to join my friends to watch the ODI, sorry. Why don't you enlighten us all, since she is your discovery? Simon looked at his watch for perhaps the 25th time. What's her name? Paul asked gently, feeling sorry for Jacob, who always had to combat prejudice when he wanted to do something different. His ideas grew in a different soil. जो लीडर, जो सीईओ, जो प्रिंसिपल स्कूल का होता है, वो हमेशा घबराया सा, सहमा सा रहता है, क्योंकि उसको मैनेजमेंट से बहुत कुछ करवाना होता है और उसके लिए बहुत मुश्किल होता है। ये कई बार हमारे घर में भी होता है, जब मदर फादर भी हों और आपको अपने फादर के पास जाएं, कई बार ऐसी परमिशन लेनी होती है, आप बहुत घबराते हैं। तो देखिए, अभी जिस टीचर को उनको हायर करना है, उसको कैसे डिस्क्राइब करते हैं। हर नेम इज रोमा, जेकब रिप्लाइड। हु इज शी? What is this paragon of imperfection like? Simon inquired, trying to mask his lack of interest. Paragon of imperfection. Important phrase. Paragon वो होता है बहुत माहिर और बहुत गलत। ये कौन है? She writes that she talks with a spring. She walks with a spring in every step. ये टीचर का बायो है जो आया है. She writes that she walks with a spring in every step. She carries an upbeat oomph in her heart. There is an undying spirit in her soul which tells her never to give up. She has the sparkle in her eyes which says, I am your match, sweetheart. She is one who takes life by the tail with a vengeance. She plays Black Panther snare drums to a soul wrenching music of love and life and the dance of eternity. What a beautiful prose, poetic way of describing a confident teacher. When it thunders, she dances barefoot in the rain. इसका मतलब she is courageous. Given a chance, she would use corporate skills in her classroom. Means she's smart. She is Roma, the one who leaves her heart open for little angels to take residence. देखो कितने बढ़िया तरीके से जेकब ने इंट्रोडक्शन दिया. Jacob looked up as he finished reading the yellow highlighted part of her resume. She sounds like a juvenile but wants to use corporate skills in class. What else is there that makes her not perfect, Jacob? This is not making any sense at all. At least to me, Simon burst out. Annoyance cleared in his voice. Silence, young man, Uncle Patrick admonished him sternly. अब बड़े अंकल अपनी क्लास को संभाल रहे हैं जो इस वक्त बोर्ड रूम है. She is not perfect because she hasn't the brightest student and experienced bitter failure. She was a silent mischief maker in her school days. She was never able to learn formulae and definitions and always believed she was the biggest moron. So teacher believed she was a big clown. Jacob read, That part highlighted red in one breath, ignoring Uncle Patrick's gradually descending jaw. He looked incredibly comical. So Uncle Patrick को नींद आ रही थी उनका, जैसे जब नींद आए ना, आपका मुंह खुल जाता है, आप नींद आने लगती है, आप झूमने लग जाते हैं. जेकब कंटिन्यू रीडिंग अनरिलेंटिंगली. जैसे मैं आपके आगे पढ़ता जा रहा हूं और क्या पता आप भी मेरी आवाज सुन के सो रहे हो. Jacob continued reading relentingly. She believes in walking uncharted paths and never wanted to be a teacher because she asks, how could a backbencher and last ranker demand excellence from her students? That would make her the world's greatest hypocrite. Go on, this is amazing. Paul laughed aloud. She claims to be unconventional, unusual, and unpredictable, feels younger with her birthday, every birthday, and wants to grow old climbing trees, walking through forests, jumping into puddles, dancing in the rain, sighing over romantic stories with happy endings, riding high powered mobikes with the wind tearing through her hair, flying airplanes, and slice through bleeding skies, dashing over frothy waters on a rubber raft, and resting on the dew kissed earth to watch the moon flirt with the frail silvery clouds. Do you think she is from the mental rehabilitation center? क्या वो पागल खाने से आई है? Tim asked Wilson in disbelieving amazement. ये कैसी टीचर है जो हवाई जहाज भी चलाएगी, मोटरसाइकिल भी चलाएगी और आसमान छूना चाहती है? Uncle Patrick looked at them both, one finger on his lips. या फोटो में देखिए अंकल पैट्रिक बैठे हैं और पूरा परिवार वहां उस टीचर की पिक्चर देख रहा है. तो इसको कॉपी कर लेते हैं, ये बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है. और इसको कॉपी करके आपका इस वीक का थिंकिंग स्पॉट बनाते हैं और आपके थिंकिंग स्पॉट में इसको हम आपके पास पहुंचा देते हैं. आपके लर्निंग फॉरवर्ड सैटरडे के व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में ये ग्राफिक पहुंच गया. ये ग्राफिक आप जब देखेंगे आपको आज के सेशन की याद आएगी. अब आगे चलते हैं. Uncle Patrick looked at them both, one finger on his lips. He looked like a live caricature of a school headmaster, his spiky cluster of salt and pepper hair standing up. She lives every breathing and existing moment for the day. For her, there is no retake on life, no second chances, no moment to repent. There is no tomorrow in the almanac of her life. Jacob stopped trying to assess the approval meter. And her hobbies? Asked Paul, fascinated by the strangest resume he had ever heard. She played drums. That's so cool. Jacob read what he had highlighted himself in blue. She likes to play stone, paper, scissors. Simon grimaced, dreading the fate of their school. She listens to pop and Western classical music, plays the drums in her free time. She likes to learn new languages. She speaks French and Spanish and wants to learn Russian. Simon thought that was the only silver lining. She likes to watch Tom and Jerry and reads romances and suspense thrillers. Jacob added before gently closing the file and looking at the others seriously. They looked as if they had been tossed into a blizzard or washed and rinsed in a fast dishwasher. Phrases देखिए. They looked as if they had been tossed into a blizzard or washed and rinsed in a fast dishwasher. हिल गए सब. Or smashed on the head with a boulder. ऐसा लगा हमारे सर पे पत्थर आके गिरा. Jacob felt sorry for them, but he wanted to experiment with appointing someone different in the school where they were presently battling student behavior problems. This included prank calls to teachers, walking like Romeo and Juliet in the campus, copying in exams, scribbling obnoxiously on the walls, acting insolent and answering back, jumping fences, walls, and barricades, damaging school property for fun, and having wild parties after school. ऐसा डिसिप्लिन आपको चाहिए ये सब काउंटर करने के लिए. Not to mention the ever looming threat of smoking, alcohol, and drugs. There had to be a peaceful and sensible way of dealing with all this, he thought in frustration. If everyone approves, she will be on the rolls for just a couple of months. We need someone to take Sonam Mishra's classes. She is getting married next month. Sonam will be on leave for 6 months, Jacob said, hoping to diffuse the situation and make the atmosphere more amiable. You should have mentioned that in the beginning. We could have avoided this futile discussion if we had known she is not going to be here after a couple of months, Simon grumbled. We will decide that after 6 months, Simon, Jacob replied calmly. तो मतलब 6 महीने बाद सोचेंगे आगे क्या करना है. Wouldn't it work out better if we asked an experienced teacher to substitute? After all, it's just a matter of 6 months. Wilson suggested softly, hoping his suggestion would not add more fuel to the fire. No one is willing to go to that class, Wilson, even for 35 minutes. अब जिस class में उसको जाना है. Last week, Hemlatha, the dance teacher, walked out in tears. 2 new teachers did not return after being in that class for just 8 minutes each. Moreover, the article in the newspaper about drunken driving by 2 of our 16-year-olds hasn't done wonders to the school image. The general opinion is we are unable to discipline our students, sighed Jacob. Okay, take her on, Jacob. See how things work out after she joins. Uncle Patrick ended the discussion with a deep, resonating sigh. He looked around at the others in case someone had any objection to this most unusual appointment of an unusual teacher. Yeah, Simon thumped soundlessly on the table. He considered this a futile discussion. It was his personal opinion that the only way to deal with indiscipline was to issue show cause memos, suspension, and rustication. But since the goody two-shoe bro had a runway idea for his dollhouse, they would all have to go along with it. It always happened that way. For heaven's sake, there were professional counselors in school to deal with such situations, he thought. Think of the ratio, Simon, Jacob said. Surprised, tried to take in the sudden question thrown at him. How was Jacob able to read his mind so easily? Did his thoughts flash across his face? We have 3,500 students and just 4 professional counselors. How can they address so many problems at the same time? If you look at the discipline-related entries in the logbook, there are at least 30 to 35 incidents every day, from the primary to the high school level. This means that apart from professional counselors, every teacher must learn to be an ed counselor. Ed counselor? So हर एक टीचर को एक तरीके से पहले काउंसलर ही बनना होता है. So they can deal with classroom problems on the spot because spot पे आप ही deal करते हैं. Just like one gives first aid before the doctor administers treatment. So teacher gives first aid, counselor does the doctor's job. Jacob explained to his mystified brother, who merely shrugged his shoulders carelessly. So, can we leave now, please? Simon asked. हमारी क्लास खत्म होने वाली है, थोड़ा सा समय रह गया केवल. Simon asked, looking at Jacob sitting like a stone statue, a grim expression on his face, waiting to see some germ of change in Simon, but in vain. Yes, we can. Jacob slipped his iPhone into his breast pocket and swiveled in his chair to slide out. He longed to go back home and change into something comfortable. The formal trappings of his position suffocated his outdoor personality. The CEO was feeling really stuck up. Having a good weekend, Uncle Patrick called as he left with Wilson and Tim walking ahead of him. He smiled as if Jacob and Paul moved lazily towards the coffee machine to grab a hot cup. It would be their third since the meeting began that morning. Both were coffee addicts, he thought, with a fond smile. One more thing they shared, apart from the fact they both loved soccer and rugby and skydiving. He shuddered in dread. Paul watched Jacob over his steaming cup as he loosened his tie and unbuttoned 2 unbuttons of his shirt. Difficult times? Nah, just need a break. It's been a long week's meetings, interviews, video conference. discussions and events, Jacob sighed, gulping the hot coffee gratefully. He needed it badly. Well, the break begins today. You leave tonight for the weekend to participate in the annual yacht regatta. मैंने yacht नहीं बोला, yacht बोला है. Yacht regatta at Nainital. Paul mentioned, laughing at surprise. How do you know? Look. Facebook, pal. He laughed as they walked towards the door. Yes, I need that break before leaving for the round table school conference in London. I don't think I'll be back for 3 months at least, with the new UK project beginning next month. You must take care of things here. I will, Jacob, Paul assured him, patting him on the shoulder. Mark copies to me and keep a watchful eye on everything, particularly on behavioral issues. Nipping it gently in the bud is best. जब फ्लावर ब्लॉसम करता है पहले बड आता है, और अगर आप बर्ड को वहीं रोक देंगे तो फ्लावर बनेगा नहीं, मतलब मुश्किल फैलेगी नहीं. He advised as they walked out of the school's green building. The Roderick International Schools boasted new age structures that were environmentally responsible and resource efficient. The topic of the conversation switched to Chelsea, Real Madrid, and Manchester United. Boys will be boys. So board members अब अपनी दुनिया में चले गए. A progressive management follows the wise words of Theodore Roosevelt. The best executive is the one who has the sense enough to pick good men to do what he wants done, and self-restraint to keep from meddling with him while they do it. So अगर आपके यहाँ मैनेजमेंट किसी को अपॉइंट करती है, उनको स्पेस भी देनी चाहिए ताकि वो अपना काम कर सकें. और जो मैनेजमेंट का अपॉइंटमेंट होता है, दैट इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट. द सिलेक्शन एंड द फ्रीडम टू वर्क आफ्टर द सिलेक्शन. It's a very hard balancing task. I suggest we get a copy of the book. I have already read the chapter for you today. So today was our chapter 1, conventional management versus one sec. Sorry. I will just do a roundup of the chapters for you. So let's go this way. Last week, we opened the book and we read the introduction. Today, we did conventional versus contemporary school management. So entire February, we will only focus on this chapter. Our discussions and work in the next 2 sessions, I want to hear from you. जो इस चैप्टर में आपने पढ़ा, जो इस चैप्टर में आपने सुना, और जो उसने चैप्टर में आपने देखा, मतलब विजुलाइज किया, अपने दिमाग में रील चलाई, ये पूरी रिकॉर्डिंग मैं यूट्यूब वीडियो में आधे घंटे में पेश करूंगा आपके लिए. आपके पास किताब नहीं है, कोई बात नहीं. आप इस वीडियो को रीप्ले करके चैप्टर को स्क्रीन बाय स्क्रीन भी पढ़ सकते हैं, नोट्स बना सकते हैं, सोच सकते हैं. कुछ आपने हाईलाइट करना हो, स्क्रीनशॉट ले सकते हैं, प्लीज लीजिए. आप चैप्टर को वहां तक पहुंचाइए जहां आज टीचर आपके यहाँ नहीं आए या आप पहुंच नहीं पाए. इस चैप्टर को जितना मर्जी शेयर कीजिए. ये एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चैप्टर है आपकी मैनेजमेंट के लिए और आप सब लोगों के लिए, कि कैसे टीचर को अपॉइंट करना चाहिए और कैसे टीचर को फ्रीडम मिलनी चाहिए काम करने की. अक्सर जब मैं स्कूल्स के साथ काम करता हूं, मुझे मैनेजमेंट है. मैनेजमेंट हर बार मेरे साथ चैलेंज में आ जाती है जब मैं टीचर के साथ खड़ा होता हूं. माफ करना, मैं हमेशा टीचर के साथ खड़ा हूंगा, और इसके लिए मुझे गर्व है, क्योंकि मेरी जिंदगी का एक ही सपना है, हे भगवान, जब मैं सोऊं मैं अपने टीचर के पैरों में सोऊं. और इस उम्मीद के साथ कि आप लोग भी इस ह्यूमिलिटी से अपने आप को अपनी क्लास में पेश करेंगे, मैं आप सबका बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूं. और ये चैप्टर 2 है, जो वॉर वर्सेस पीस, ये हम मार्च में डिस्कस करेंगे. तो इसका हम क्या करते हैं, यहाँ पे बुक मार्क बना देते हैं, और इस बुक मार्क को हम पेश कर देंगे अपने व्हाट्सएप चैट में. ये आपके व्हाट्सएप चैट में आ गया और इसमें लिखा गया बुक मार्क फॉर मार्च 2026, ताकि हमें याद रहे कि हमको अगले महीने कहां से शुरू करना है. अब हम क्या करते हैं, इस स्क्रीन शेयर को बंद करेंगे और हम वापस आ जाएंगे आपके पास और देखेंगे किसमें हिम्मत है कोई सवाल पूछने की या अपना एक्सपीरियंस बताने की? अब बारी आपकी। सुनीता जी, आप मेरी
यस
फेवरेट
सर।
आप मेरी फेवरेट स्टूडेंट है। आप बताइए, मैंने कुछ अच्छा पढ़ा क्या? मेरी रीडिंग
यस
अच्छी?
सर।
कितने नंबर देंगी आज मुझे रीडिंग के? चलो, सुनीता जी तो घबरा गई, फ्रीज कर गई। नेहा जी, और कोई? डज एनीवन हैव द करेज टू स्पीक?
सर
अनम्यूट
आप
कीजिए।
इतना अच्छा पढ़ाते हैं, हम आपको नंबर ही नहीं दे सकते सर।
नंबर ही नहीं दे
नहीं।
सकते? नंबर खत्म हो गए?
नहीं सर।
आपने तो दिल दे दिया, और क्या चाहिए सुनीता जी? और हम
नहीं
ऐसे
सर, आपने बहुत अच्छे से बताया, इसलिए हम लोग को कुछ समझ में आया है कि इसमें क्या मतलब ऐसा है कि जो हम लोग वापस उस चैप्टर को पढ़े और
जी,
उससे कुछ और भी वो करें।
बहुत कुछ आपने जो बोल दिया, यही आज की टेक अवे है कि हम इस चैप्टर पे फोकस करें और रिफ्लेक्ट करें, और पूरा महीना ये करेंगे। मैं जानता हूं आपका समय लिमिटेड है, आप टीचर सोच रहे हैं, घड़ी देख रहे हैं कब ये सेशन खत्म हो गया, 1 मिनट रह गया सेशन कम खत्म होने के लिए, 1 मिनट से आगे नहीं होगा। 3:45 पूर्ण विराम, चाहे काम पूरा हो गया नहीं। मुझे पता है कि आपने घर जाके बहुत कुछ करना है, कईयों ने कपड़े धोने होंगे, कईयों ने खाना बनाना होगा, किसी के बच्चे होंगे, किसी के पास रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी
जी
होगी।
सर।
दो चीजें याद रखना, सबसे मुश्किल काम है दुनिया में मां बनना। द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट जॉब इन द वर्ल्ड इज टू बी अ मदर, एंड मेजॉरिटी ऑफ आवर टीचर्स आर मदर्स, which is the grace of God. Thank God men were not teachers, because they would not have lived the most difficult job in the world. And we respect each one of you. We are there with you with humility and there with you always. We will always stand by you. I will share once again a presentation after this conversation called Happy Teachers, just for you to flip and see how useful it is for you to think when you work in your school with the limited resources, the limited time, and limited challenge. On that note, as so many of us are ready to run away, मेरा नमस्कार, जय हिंद। और आपकी सभा में हर हफ्ते 3 बजे उपलब्ध होऊंगा, और 45 मिनट आपको पूरी दिल से सेवा करके उम्मीद करूंगा आपकी जिंदगी कुछ बेहतर बना सकूं। किसी को कुछ कहना है बंद करने से पहले? नेहा जी, आप कुछ कहना चाहती हैं? नेहा उपाध्याय, माफ करना, मैंने आपका कैमरा ऑन देखा तो आपसे आंख लगा ली, तो इसलिए आपसे किया। नेहा जी, आप अनम्यूट कर सकती हैं। एनीवन कैन अनम्यूट, दिस इज अ मीटिंग, इट्स नॉट अ बिना। जी नेहा।
यस सर, आपने स्टोरी जो एक्सप्लेन किया काफ़ी अच्छा लगा स्टोरी के बारे में जान करके। और यस, आपने सही कहा कि माँ होना ये बहुत जिम्मेदारी की बात है। पर हाँ, इस पे हम गर्व भी करते हैं कि हम एक साथ बहुत सारी चीज़ों पे वर्क कर रहे हैं। घर, परिवार, बाय प्रोफेशन हम टीचर हैं, स्कूल में बच्चों को भी, साथ में सेल्फ केयर भी है। तो ये हमारे लिए बहुत प्राउड की बात है सर।
नेहा
एंड
जी,
थैंक यू कि आपने इतने अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया और सारी चीज़ें समझाई, बहुत अच्छा लगा। एंड डेफिनेटली हम हर बार जब आपकी सेशन होंगे हम अटेंड करेंगे और उसको एंजॉय करेंगे और आपके साथ आगे बढ़ेंगे। थैंक यू।
थैंक। पीवाईडीएस ने मैसेज भेजा है, वीडियो आएगा जी। वीडियो हमारा यूट्यूब चैनल है। सनबीओ माओ, आपका हैंड्स अप है। हाँ जी मैम।
First of all, Jain sir,
जय
I
हिंद।
think yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, on the behalf of Sunbeam School, Mao. Like both sirs are Vishal, sir, principal sir are busy in that seated examination, sir. So I'm
जी,
just coming on saying, sir, thank you so much on the behalf of whole entire team, sir. And sir, definitely the story was amazing, sir. And definitely we look out for the next session of yours, sir.
हाँ, आप प्लीज कोशिश करना, मैं किताब का अमेजोन लिंक भेज दूंगा, और अगर
Okay, sir.
किसी को किताब चाहिए हो, हमारे पास देहरादून में भी हम डाक में डाल देंगे। अगर कोई किताब नहीं खरीदना चाहता, मैं गिफ्ट कर दूंगा आपका बर्थडे समझ के, तो
Sure,
वो भी मुझे वेलकम है। आपके पास
sure.
किताब होनी चाहिए, जैसे मोदी जी कहते हैं ना, हर घर में नल, मैं कहता हूँ
Yeah.
हर घर में किताब।
Yes, sir.
और जब
सर,
हर घर में किताब होगी, तब नया हिंदुस्तान बनेगा। याद रखना इस चीज को। जब तक हर
Yes.
घर में किताब नहीं होगी, न्यू इंडिया नहीं बनेगा।
नहीं
And yes, sir,
बनेगा।
I'm in the group also, and whatever the books you shared over there, I definitely look out that.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Ritu ma'am, you want to say something?
Jain sir,
Jai Hind ma'am.
so the session is very much impressive and all good. I'm impressed, and
You are
I
in.
attend all the sessions.
Thank you ma'am. I'm glad I impressed you.
Yeah.
चलो, थैंक यू सो मच। हमने
थैंक
समय 3 मिनट
जय
ज्यादा किया क्योंकि 3 मिनट लेट शुरू किया था। आपका वीडियो 45 मिनट का ही होगा। वीडियो तक 1 घंटे में आ जाता है। और आपके जाने से पहले मैंने एआई की बात की थी। हमारे ऑफिस में आप देखेंगे कोई स्टाफ ही नहीं है। अब
जी सर।
काम कैसे होता है? सारा काम एआई से होता है। वीडियो एआई बनाएगा, नोट्स भी एआई लिखेगा, पोस्ट भी एआई करेगा, करेक्शन भी एआई करेगा। अब आप देखना वो कैसे होता है। अगले 5 मिनट्स में आपके व्हाट्सएप में इसकी समरी आ जाएगी। मैं नहीं भेजूंगा, एआई भेजेगा। सो आई विल हेल्प यू टीचर्स अंडरस्टैंड हाउ यू कैन यूज टेक्नोलॉजी फॉर गुड, not for copying, not for pasting, but for prompting it in a way that it works for you. And I assure you, in the 11 months, you will become proficient in using digital technology in the best possible way. I'm on the wrong side of age. I don't want to say my age because you will not believe me. But let me tell you, I'm willing to compete with anyone in terms of technology, learning, and management of a classroom. God bless you all. Take care. Have a happy weekend. And yes, maybe you want to come tomorrow. We have My Good School at 10:30. If you want to join that, please do. The details of that go in the My Good School group. So in your WhatsApp, there are 2, 3 groups you will get added to. Some of you have access. If others want access, we will send the QR code. We already sent to some schools. Please join the community. There is no chatter in it, just news and updates. Meenakshi, thank you. My wishes to everyone.
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Jai Hind. Good day.